Hello guys, and welcome back to Joe's Ventures. And today you can see here we've got another month. It's another dev diary for Prehistoric Kingdom. So yeah, it's been another really cool month, and we've talked about some really cool updates, the past last few months, with the animal breeding and things like that. So we've got some more updates coming to the next one. So there's kind of some new things, other plans, kind of a little bit to go over. So we'll have a look through, see what's on the agenda here. So welcome to July Development Diary. We're officially less than a month away from update 15, and there's still quite a bit to talk about. So without further ado, let's get right into it. So yeah, don't want to waste your time there. So yeah, really cool fossils there with the blue nest with the blue eggs. That's quite cool. Pretty big fan of that. So let's have a look. State of development. Due to a variety of real-world factors impacting our team, it was not possible for Update 15 to begin public testing in July. Despite this, we continue to work tirelessly on getting the initial public test branch release candidate ready for players as soon as possible. So hopefully they'll be pretty onto it there. This early version would include Gallimimus, paleobotany, and paleoflora excavations, animal courtship, breeding and nesting, animal look IKs, animal milestones, new nursery menu, new landscaping menu and landscaping improvements, new research tree, improved world grid, and challenge mode rebalance. So that's a lot coming for that update there. And then in late August, when the full update comes alive, you'll have Oviraptor, animal aggression and fleeing threat behaviors, animal vegetation browsing, so that's quite cool as well, and new feeders and feeding enrichment items, so that's quite cool there. For information about breeding, you can check last month. We did go quite into depth about that, so that's quite cool. You just watched last month's Watch June. I did a video on that. I'm doing videos, keeping on top of it. So that's quite cool. But yeah, update 15. So starting us off with something quite big. Joining Gallimimus with update 15 is equally, if more so, feathered friend, Oviraptor. So this is quite a small dinosaur and similar in size to Velociraptor, with rich plumage and particularly elegant tail. So I really like that. In our park, our scientists discovered that most reconstructions of Oviraptor are actually based on a relative named Cityputty. Though many guests expect to see a larger animal due to this era, the real Oviraptor was more compact and basal by comparison. Scientifically speaking, this has the vibe of overgrown parrot. So I do like that they actually used Oviraptor fossils, because a lot of the ones, as I mentioned, that is a true statement. That's just used in media. A lot of reconstructions that we see of Oviraptor are actually Cityputty. So this is actually what Oviraptor should look like. And I have to say, I really do love the design. I love the tail fan. I love that they've given it a bit extra, oomph there. I love the blue around the eyes. I'm not normally a big fan of blue on dinosaurs, but I think that works really well here. Just that little fleck to give extra colour. And yeah, it looks very parrot-like, because Oviraptor, very much sometimes called kind of parrot dinosaurs in that regard. It looks really awesome. Definitely a big fan. So yeah, spot on. Another banger from PK. And then you can see the iridescence on those feathers. I like that they got the iridescence. That's really cool. So that must be one of the skins. And then you can see these little babies here. And probably mum or dad sitting on the nest. Probably mum, but judging by the crest. And most actually fossils, we do have pretty good fossils of them sitting on the nest. So we know that's a true behavior. And actually the reason they got the name Oviraptor was because they were thought to be eating the eggs of Protoceratops. But turns out they thought these were Protoceratops eggs, but turns out they're sitting on Oviraptor eggs based on finding actual embryos. So they're actually what they were thought to be, egg robbers or cradle snatchers. They actually were good parents. So, that helps their reputation. So that's quite cool there. So they're really cool in there. Having lived in the deserts of Cretaceous Mongolia, Oviraptor is a great companion animal to Protoceratops. And they pair quite well with some paleobotany too. So you can see a really nice picture there. Looks like a nice late Cretaceous watering hole with some Protoceratops coming down. Looks really nice. Definitely a big fan. I'm just a big fan of the tail feathers. I love that they're really trying some new things with that. That's cool. So enough about gushing about Oviraptor. We've got animal milestones. So last year we've introduced a new scoring system for animals called Animal Points. Depending on the species, its individual size, mutations, growth stage, etc., will all contribute to its final value, making it more or less appealing to guests. In Update 15, we're adding the system through Animal Milestones, which is a collection of achievements that an animal can be completed throughout its animal's life. With each milestone that's unlocked, the animal will receive extra points depending on how much of an accomplishment it was. So some of the milestones include, obviously this doesn't cover all of them, but there's more of them. Ancestor, so become an ancestor to over 3 generations of offspring. So, have them breeding, you can have multiple generations. It shows they're a good proven breeder. Newborn, naturally born in the park. So if they're naturally born in the park, you didn't make them in a nursery, you can have that. Alpha, leader of the herd. So kind of there, the top dog there. Imagine it can be male and female as well, considering we've got mammals that are matriarchal, like elephants. Unrequited lover. Attempted courtship 3 or more times without success. That one's quite funny. I like that. Someone who's a bit of a player, but, tries his best but doesn't succeed. But you can see in this picture here as well. Did I actually go through and I had a look at the other pictures? But yeah, we've got Tessa, who's a Dilophosaurus. You can see some more here. Ancestor, we saw that one. Juvenile. Reach adolescence in the park. Adult, reach adulthood in the park. So that's some cool new milestones. Senior, reach old age in the park. Parent, become a parent. So there's a few of the extra ones, but there looks like there's going to be quite a few different milestones an animal can go through and get different points. So I think that's a really cool system. So, you can have an animal and have all these different points to help make it more appealing. I think that's quite cool. The amount of points per milestone is subject to change. Fair enough. So based on what specific animal does during their time in the park, they can have a completely different journey to other individuals. There are currently around 20 milestones implemented in Update 15, and more planned to be added as the animal AI continues to grow in complexity. See, I like that. I think that's quite cool. So it kind of, even if you have the same animal, depending on how it lives, if you raise it in the park or you raise it, give birth to it through your animals, breed them, I think that's a really cool way to open that up a bit. And you can have different animals and different values, even though they're the same. I think that adds a lot of management in there as well. I think that's quite cool. Okay, so we've got Animal Look IK. So one of the lesser discussed aspects of Update 15 is the inclusion of Animal Look IK, so allowing animals to look at other creatures and objects. So due to our seamless ontogeny, rigging pipeline, and diverse neck shapes across the animals, this has been quite the undertaking. Lots of engineering has gone into its development and will continue to do so as we get closer to release. Though likely not yet ready for mass implementation, you can see how it's been developing below with some tests on the Ugranaluk. So let's have a look there. So you can see, it was very simple things, but it's cool to actually see the animal look around and, interpret things. You can see, oh, look at that. So it's interpreting, walking around and, oh, what's going on there? So that's quite cool. So now have a look at the next one. So that's another one there. So you can see, looking down, what's up over there? And it moves up. So that just having those little movements there obviously make it so much more alive. So the animal will respond to things and understand. So that's quite cool. Once it's finished, this will become a core part of our future combat system and take advantage of adjustable head positions. So that'll be cool, especially when you're attacking and things. Okay, so now we're moving on to some building. So global grid improvements. In case you didn't know, players can enable a global grid while placing objects or prefabs into the world. This can help make building a lot easier and more organized. The problem is that the current game it doesn't work too well. And that's why for Update 15, we have vastly improved the global grid logic. It is now has a dedicated grid graphic to indicate when it's enabled, and it's infinitely more usable for a variety of structures and substructures. It is a pretty satisfying way to build your park. So you can see going on here. So there, you can see, use grid, so you can make it, especially bigger things and keep it all onto it like that. Bloody amazing. See? No dramas. I like that. Makes building quite easy. In fact, players can now toggle this grid while building fences. So enabling this certainly gives a wave of nostalgia from our favourite childhood zoo sims. So let's have a look. Haha, let's see. Oh, grid. Oh, I love it. This is very much like Zoo Tycoon. Yes. Amazing. I love it. That's actually pretty awesome. I love that it works on the fence too, so we can have, snap angles and things like that. That's amazing. Definitely a big fan. Love that. We also eventually hope to bring this feature to paths if we have the resources to work them before the access. So yeah, paths definitely deserve some love. So now back to some animals. We've got feeders. So one of the most anticipated parts of this update is the addition of new feeders. So increasing the player's choice of feeders is crucial to us, as Update 15, some animals not only want multiple diets present, but multiple feeders designs for enrichment. So this process began with designing a library of updated food assets that can be sprinkled around for upcoming feeder textures. So they adhere to existing diets, their content is much more diverse. For example, the fish diet now includes crabs and squids. You can see there, obviously not probably that realistic, but you can see all sorts of different things there. You can see bits of fish and clams and squid there, and fillets of fish. And you can see this is a good meat one there. Some eggs, bit of protein there. Fruit, blueberries, big watermelons. That's quite cool. And this one's got a little bit more veggies to it. So fruit and veggies. Hay, that's a cool one there. It'd be cool if you had one like browse. So this one kind of covers browse, but one that's just like leaves and browse and things. This one's insects as well. You can see millipedes and maggots and stuff, all that kind of stuff. So I think that's quite cool as well. Really, really cool. Nice textures. Speaking of, we've also updated our standard feeders to use the new models, support recoloring, and even added 3 new types: large, small, and long feeders. As you might imagine, different sizes hold different amounts of food. There's also a new plastic material, bringing the total styles to 4. So you can see there's different styles there. So you can see this does a great job of encompassing all the styles. You can see you've got this wooden one here, you got the steel one here. I don't know what this one is, but mostly plastic, steel, or stainless steel. That's good for feeders. Really good for hygiene. Sometimes plastic's a good one too. And I really like this one. This is a cool one for keeping it a bit more naturalistic or making a cool kind of style. You've got kind of this, like reptile design, very kind of like a faux kind of rock dish thing that looks quite cool. And you see them a lot of reptile dishes, Exoterra does a lot of them. I think that's quite cool. So you got some there, some long feeders, some big troughs. I think that's quite cool. Small ones there. I hope they're recolorable. They should be recolorable in different sizes. So you can see all the different textures there. Looks pretty cool. Definitely a big fan. And then as addition to these 3 new feeder sizes above, we're aiming to include a few new feeder types inspired by zoos. One of our ideas is a plastic fish carcass that keepers can fill with chunks of fish. So that's quite cool. Faux carcass feeder. I think that'd be cool. It'd really cool to expand that, to not just fish, but modern animals, bigger animals as well. Because I know there's even a zoo in Minnesota that has a fake moose that they put meat in, and then the wolves can eat it out. So I think that could be, keep it a bit more natural. So that's quite cool. I'm sure that'll expand quite a bit. So cool to see that happening. But and then you got concept art of that as well. But as would you look at it, it seems that all this talk of food has made our Gallimimus hungry. So thanks to its height, the Gallimimus will have the ability to eat from short and tall feeders. This is also a feature we'd like to add to hadrosaurs in the future. So you can see that tall feeder, for the sauropods. You can see these guys having a little go at it as well. And a little cute baby there. That's really, really awesome. I love that fence as well. That fence is cool. Also, some new changes here, landscaping improvements. So July had brought quite a few unexpected developments in our landscaping suite. To start, there's now a variety of brush types available for terraforming and texture painting respectively, including perfect circles, squares, and a set of noise brushes. It's incredibly easy now to create more organic looking terrain. So that's quite cool there. Players will also be able to use their mouse wheel plus shift to control and adjust the size and texture of the brush on the fly. That's quite cool. So let's have a look. Yeah, that's quite cool. Make it flat. That's quite cool. I like that. Easy as like how easy it was to create something natural. I think they're really trying to give us something really awesome with the terrain stuff as well. They're trying to make it as user friendly as possible, because that was the biggest thing with Planet Zoo and things. It's not very user friendly in comparison, but it's quite cool to see all that. So let's have a look there. So similarly, we've updated the grass masking rules, make it easier to blend multiple grass types together. And you'll be able to find 3D blade grasses tend to remain visible even low intensities, solving some of the usability issues that we've had, subtly blending grass with dirt and sand. So let's have a look. That's quite cool. So you can see blending it a little bit, looks a little bit more natural. Then you fix it in there. Let's have a look there. Oh, that's cool. I like that. You can see some little bits in there, kind of reduces a bit. That's cool. That's cool. That's cool. Let's carry on as well. And then for our final trick, We've added a highly requested feature and an automatic slope painting, so that's cool. With this setting enabled, players can automatically paint rocks on steep slopes, making it incredibly easy to create realistic looking mountains, cliffs, or inclines, so that's quite cool as well. The slope texture is automatically picked depending on what biome you're painting from. So if you paint tropical sand or grass with auto-slope enabled, you get tropical rock on slopes. With temperate textures using temperate rock, desert uses desert rock, etc. So pretty easy there. So let's have a look as well. So you can see, pretty easy there. So you can make it look, on the slope there. That's quite cool. That works quite well. Yeah, that'll make it so much easier to make slopes and things. That's cool. Bloody awesome there. So let's have a look as well. For terraforming, a similar option is also available called sculpted slope painting. So when enabled, terraforming actions will automatically paint grass and rock depending on the map's biome. This can be handy for sketching out ideas or building habitats that don't need unique terrain prints. This kind of works quite well. Just kind of sorting it out, seeing what you want, think how you like to look at it. Yeah, that's quite cool. I was actually just watching it a couple of times. Oh wow, that's amazing. Okay, so putting all these features into practice, we've been having way more fun designing habitats. We can't wait to see what you do with it. So that's quite cool. Amazing. Really, really cool. So I actually just got lost mesmerizing looking at that. I was like, that's impressive. That's cool. Okay, so that's about it there. It's community spotlights now. So we've got this really cool by Rot NEXE. Did a nice painting of one of the Gallimimus skins. Looks really, really nice there. Another really cool painting here by Caveat. So this clearly, painted off a screenshot. Really nice, oily. Looks really, really nice. Love the painting there. Love the painterly style. Did a really great job. Quite like that. Great job with the lighting. The lighting looks amazing. Really, really good. And then we've got here something from the game itself by Assassin Spino. Assassin Spino, I got to shout out Assassin Spino. Has been doing these really cool things where he's been adding like all sorts of different animals to different scenarios and things. And there was one like an Argentinosaurus destroying a jeep. I thought that was quite cool. But yeah, I love these kind of scenarios working with having the wheelbarrows in there. I hope they get expanded a little bit because it's kind of weird to have these people randomly walk in the enclosures with giant multi-ton dead animals. Extinct animals, especially when even in modern zoos you wouldn't be going in with tigers and things like that. So I hope there's some way that we can add that into the game just to make that a little bit more realistic. But that's kind of minor from me being a person that works in zoos. But anyway, so yeah, that's it for reading July's Dev Diary. It's been a busy month, but we're still chugging along. As mentioned, keep an eye out for Update 15's trailer within the next week, so it'll be cool to see. And you won't want to miss that. Or I might actually cover that, I'll see, depending. But until next time, the PK team. So yeah, another really chock-a-block full month of all sorts of cool stuff. I love the feeder stuff, and obviously the Oviraptor looks quite good. So a lot of really cool stuff here today. The milestones is called quite cool. So yeah, definitely shaping up to be quite an amazing update. So yeah, definitely a big fan. So yeah, I think this will be a great place to end the video. So I really, really, really hope you guys have enjoyed this video. If you guys like and subscribe, always remember to hit the bell icon to get notified of anything. So if you guys enjoyed this video, if you guys like and subscribe, and bye-bye.